Warning! This video will be focusing on a very touchy subject. The comment section of this upload will most likely become a war zone, so bring a helmet. This is Ponies vs. Critics, Round 2. Get it on! Before we get started, allow me to make something abundantly clear. I'm not here to condemn people who dislike Bronies or My Little Pony. I'm not here to complain about Bronies or My Little Pony. I'm simply here to make some corrections on my previous video and to share with you all my new perspective on this subject. On May 17th, 2012, I uploaded a video to my channel called How to Brony, responding to haters and trolls. In the midst of a sociological storm, I attempted to explain why society dislikes bronies, and how said bronies should respond to these critics. Oh boy, I did not know what I was getting myself into. It was like kicking a hornet's nest like a soccer ball towards a bear cave that was near the foothills of an active volcano. The comment section for this video is volatile, to say the least. You have contenders from both sides going at it constantly. I mean, over 23,000 comments. I have videos with fewer views than that. And after reading through these comments, God bless my soul, I learned a thing or two and realized that my previous video had some serious flaws. For one, it was biased. I went into it calling people who criticize bronies haters and trolls. That was not fair. Not everyone who objects to My Little Pony fans are necessarily hating on them. Some people have legit questions and concerns. Imagine yourself in their position. There is actually a good chance you probably were. You remember My Little Pony being a show from the 1980s, a show that little girls loved to watch, while young boys played with their Transformers and action figures. 30 years later, and now you have a bunch of older guys watching and liking a show about cartoon ponies? Now, wouldn't this make you raise an eyebrow? Wouldn't this set off a red flag in your head? Yeah, it would. It doesn't make sense. It violates gender roles. Why would older guys like this show unless they are mentally or emotionally disturbed? I'm not saying some of them aren't, but most of them just watch the show for fun. Now, how would these critics know that? They wouldn't. All they see are a bunch of weird guys with a strange obsession. And this is where the assumptions begin. Some assumptions are fair, while others are just downright insulting. It's a shame that name-calling happens to begin with, but oh well, that's reality. I do give a lot of credit to the people who refrain from name-calling and actually research a subject before judging it. But most of the time, all the average person needs is a picture and a headliner to form an opinion, and that rarely tells the full story. The same thing can be said for My Little Pony fans. Some are chill and just watch the show. They don't feel the need to preach it at people or get into fights over it. Instead, they keep it to themselves or others who are cool with ponies. Some bronies are absolutely insane and don't know when enough is enough. They don't realize, or maybe care, that there's a time and a place for My Little Pony and decide to prance it around everywhere. But that's a minority and shouldn't represent the entire MLP fanbase. People just need to remember that assumptions rarely reveal the entire truth. Individuals make up groups, and not every individual acts the exact same. Beware group identity. It goes both ways and can be a slippery slope. Okay, we covered that. Second, the topic I was addressing is subjective. You can't prove a person wrong when it's a matter of opinion. That's like me saying, sushi sucks. Not really, it's delicious. But just because I say that doesn't mean that everyone else thinks the exact same. Now you can try and argue that I'm wrong, but then it's your opinion versus my own. And I don't feel much like agreeing with you. In fact, you are absolutely wrong, and stupid, and fat, and blah 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 blah. Yay, opinions. Everybody has one. To fight over opinions is pointless. Discussing opinions calmly and fairly isn't, but fighting in a heated and violent argument is. And that was one of my downfalls. I tried to argue against Brony criticism. And now for my final point, how to react to critics. I actually did an okay job explaining this in my last video, but I want to update a few things. I stated that there are 3 ways you could react to a critic. You could, 1, react aggressively, 2, react kindly, or 3, ignore them. I'm gonna go ahead and say that reacting aggressively is stupid. Why get upset and fight over ponies? You are wasting your breath.
Why you have to be mad?
Reacting kindly. Yeah, this can work, but it all depends on what you say and who you are saying it to. But I find the third option, though, to be the most effective of all. Ignore them. Yep, ignore them. If the critic actually means well and wants to talk, then go ahead and talk. Share what's on your mind and hear them out. But more often than not, they're gonna try to pick on you, so just ignore them. We're kinda entering borderline bully territory, and that's not really the same subject we're focusing on here. We're talking about critics. I mean, the two aren't mutually exclusive, but I'm trying to stay on point here. This is just so hard to explain. And the reason why is everybody's situation isn't going to be the exact same. Some people are secure in who they are, and they could care less who knows what they like and how much they like it. Awesome. Go for it. Be what you want to be. For others, they don't know how to convey those feelings or emotions, and they end up getting picked on because of it. Some people are casual. They watch the show and that's it. Nothing else is a problem for them. I guess what I'm trying to say is this video isn't going to apply to everyone. I mean, I hope there's some people out there who can get something from this, but it won't be everybody, and that is a-okay with me. I'm just blabbering on at this point, and I feel I'm really getting off subject. I guess, ultimately, what I'm trying to say is you can prevent all of this to begin with by not making a big deal out of My Little Pony. Just be a fan. Treat this show like it's a show, not a way of life. I mean, who am I to say that, right? As a guy who's made plenty of pony videos, I feel like I'm the last one to point the finger and tell people to chill. But that's what bugged me so much about my last upload. I made Brony sound like it's an affiliation, therefore prepare to defend yourself because it's who you are. No, it's not who you are. It's one thing of many that should represent who you are. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just trying to say that balance can really help you a lot. I'm gonna give a personal example, and hopefully this can wrap things up. A few weeks ago, I was at a family reunion. Now, I haven't seen some of these people in years, so we had a lot of catching up to do. One night, I was talking to some of my uncles, who, by the way, are huge Howard Stern fans. Out of the blue, they said, "So, Steven, we heard you are a brony and that you watch My Little Pony?" I froze. I had no idea that they knew, and like a deer in front of headlights, I froze. I composed myself and said to them, "Oh yeah, it's just a show I watch. It's pretty good." They said, "Why would guys watch a show about ponies?" I laughed and said, "Good question. It's kind of weird, isn't it? But the writing is really good. The animation's really good. I like it. It's an entertaining show and it's got some adult jokes in there too. Don't let the ponies deceive you." And then they said, still kind of weird. And I laughed again and said, "Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's really weird. It might look bad on the outside, but I guarantee you, most of the guys who watch this watch it for fun. Just like some guy who watches Star Trek, or some guy who's a huge Green Bay Packer fan. We're just fans. It's just a really weird subject is all." And that was the end of the conversation. The moral of the story is if you treat My Little Pony as just a show, people will back off, albeit that bronies are a huge target because they violate gender roles. But when it comes down to it, when the critics do give you a hard time for watching the show, just brush it off your shoulder. Just say, "Hey, what's the big deal? It's just a cartoon I watch." That will make them feel silly because they're getting upset over ponies.
Why you have to be mad?
Okay, stop now. You give their words power. Ignore their words and their power disappears. I truly hope that this video helps. I know some people will roll their eyes since this video does not apply to them, and that's okay. I'm just trying to make up for my past video and to help those who do need it. I owe it to them. Alright, that's all I really got to say. If you all have any questions, comments, or counter arguments, drop them in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Why you have to
Oh
be
my
mad?
god, shut up!